Vladimir and the foundation of Kievan Rus, from Vikings to three nations. The 8th century, the silent lands of Eastern Europe are covered with dense forests and wide rivers. But this silence is about to be broken by the sound of Viking oars cutting through the water. These lands will become the stage for both conquest and unification. The Vikings, or Varangians, came from the north. They were not just warriors, but also traders and explorers. As they reached the lands of the Eastern Slavs, they sought to control trade routes and settle in these fertile lands. The Eastern Slavs were the indigenous people of this region. They lived off agriculture, hunting, and trade. Over time, the Vikings and the Slavs began to intermingle and form alliances. According to legend, the Slavic tribes invited a leader from the north to end their conflicts. Rurik, a Viking chieftain, was chosen in 862 to rule Novgorod, marking the beginning of the Rurik dynasty. But Rurik and his successors had bigger ambitions. Their eyes were set on Kyiv, the heart of the trade routes. In 882, Oleg, Rurik's successor, captured Kyiv. This city became the new capital of the emerging state. Oleg unified the northern and southern trade routes, creating the foundation of Kievan Rus. Kyiv became a melting pot of Slavic, Viking, and Byzantine cultures. It wasn't just the birth of a state, but also the beginning of what would later become modern Russia, Ukraine, and Belarus. By the 10th century, Kievan Rus needed a strong leader. That leader would be Vladimir, a descendant of Rurik. Vladimir fought his brothers for the throne and returned to Kyiv as a victorious prince. But Vladimir wasn't just a warrior, he was a visionary. He knew that to unite his people, he needed a strong religious and cultural foundation. Believing that he needed to belong to a religion, he summoned representatives of the era's major faiths to Kyiv. The first to approach were the Volga Bulgars, who praised Islam's discipline and monotheism. But there was one condition that Vladimir couldn't accept: the prohibition of alcohol. Vladimir, mockingly, "Drinking is the joy of the Rus. We cannot live without it." Vladimir believed a religion banning alcohol would never resonate with his people. Judaism was also presented as an option by the Khazars. However, the Khazars had lost their land, and Vladimir saw this as a sign of weakness. Vladimir firmly, "If their God couldn't protect them, why would we follow him?" Representatives from Western Europe introduced Catholicism, yet Vladimir's strong ties with Byzantium made Catholicism a less appealing choice. Vladimir sent envoy to Byzantium. When they returned, they couldn't contain their amazement at the Hagia Sophia. Envoy, "We felt as though we were in heaven itself." The political strength, cultural wealth, and religious splendor of Byzantium convinced Vladimir to choose Orthodoxy. In 988, Vladimir accepted Christianity and married Princess Anna of Byzantium. He baptized the people of Kyiv in the Dnieper River, uniting his realm under a single faith. Vladimir's decision was not just a religious milestone, but also a cultural and political turning point. Kievan Rus became the foundation for what we now know as Russia, Ukraine, and Belarus. Yet, these nations would take different paths throughout history. A story that began with the Vikings evolved into the unification of the Eastern Slavs. Vladimir's leadership transformed this tale into the birth of a civilization. But what do you think about this great historical figure? Which nation do you think Vladimir is closest to? Don't forget to subscribe and leave your thoughts in the comments below. Until next time, curb your curiosity.